Okay. Has the board ever watched a video of gun violence in schools? In MPS specifically?
Not specifically in MPS, in a board, like collectively, because when you say the board, that means at the time when we're together. I think board members have been made aware of things that have occurred in schools throughout their districts or the district, the entire district. But there was no closed session where we watched a video of MPS. We watched a video, but it was a part of a presentation from the firm that conducted the assessment, the safety assessment.
What firm was that?
I don't know the name off the top of my head. I cannot remember the name.
Okay. So, was there any response from board governance in response to you going live?
No. Me going live is no different than me having a town hall, a virtual town hall where I'm sharing or having a budget work session or anything like that. It's all the same. Board governance wouldn't have said anything to me about it.
Okay. How about, was there any reaction from other board members to you going live?
I am certain, but I cannot speak. I cannot speak on that as a fact because no one reached out to me.
Okay. So I've got a press release from you dated March 29th of 2023. Do you make a press release at that time?
I don't remember the date, but I made a press release at some point.
Okay. And what was the purpose of that press release?
The press release was made following a verbal altercation that occurred at a board meeting where I was approached in a very threatening way by the union president. And as a result of that and the actions or the lack thereof of the board, I decided to put a press release out to speak on some things.
Who's that board president?
I think at the time that was Bob Peterson.
Okay. Could it also have been Amy Miziaco?
That was the union president.
Okay. And I've got a statement here about Amy Miziaco that you wrote. It says, I also urge taxpayers to dismiss the racist and slanderous tactics of Amy Miziaco and the MTEA Teachers Union because anyone or any entity who will fight this hard to maintain the social and academic failures of MPS students and teachers is the true enemy and privatizer. Is that a true statement?
Those are my words.
Okay. Is it true?
That is what I believe.
Okay. Then I also note that you wrote in this statement, the failure of black children in black communities is profitable, exclamation point. Is that true?
That is my belief.
Okay. Is that, does the MPSU fraud base your belief that the failure of black children and black communities is profitable?
I'm just the form person, it's broad and vague, compound, and calls for speculation. I just don't even understand it. Go ahead and answer if you can.
My statements were based on what I have felt in this role and based on trends in data in general. It was not specifically referencing or speaking to one incident, but just my experience overall in my time as an educator and a board member.
Okay. Do you believe that the failure that you described in this press release and the MPSU fraud are similarly failing the black community?
I object to form question, it's broad and vague, calls for speculation. I believe she's just answered that question, but go ahead and answer it again.
Can you restate the question, please, just to make sure I want to make sure I understand it correctly.
Yeah, thanks for that. So, you said here the failure of black children and black communities is profitable. And I'm asking you, and you said you believe that statement, and I'm asking you, is the MPSU fraud, for lack of a better word, is that an example of a failure of black children and black communities being profitable?
Again, I'm going to object to the form of the question. It's broad and vague, compound, argumentative, calls for speculation on the part of this witness, but go ahead and answer as best you can.
The best way to answer it would say one is a symptom and one is a disease. and one directly impacts the other. At the time when I made the statement, it was a very vague statement based on my experiences.
Okay, I understand. Are you related to Sonia Wooten at any time?
Who?
Sonia Wooten.
I have never heard that name.
Sounds like a no then.
No.
Okay,
Sorry.
no problem. Kimberly Marion, are you related to that person at all?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, and Kevin Bay?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I read here at the end, it says, all are encouraged and welcome to attend to learn about Director Carr's citywide MPS call to action. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. And now I recall, I believe you made one motion about the opening of the school, the school schedule. Is that a fair description of what we're, 4-day schedule?
It was not a 4-day schedule. It was a proposal to explore innovation in our instructional models with with the proposal focusing 4 days solely on intense academic intervention, remediation services, but that 5th day being a day for extended learning opportunities, professional development. So it was not cutting a day, it was restructuring our instructional model to meet the needs of students and teachers.
I understand, and I appreciate that clarification. When you made a motion there, right?
Well, it wasn't, so I think there's some confusion when we mention motion. I created a resolution, and the resolution was on the agenda. We spoke about it, and then I guess the motion then, after the deliberation, after the input, was to then move for approval.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that was the motion. So yes, I believe I was the one to move for approval.
Okay, and then what happened with that resolution or motion?
The first time on the committee level, it was rejected by the majority of the board. The second time, it was approved on the committee level and set to the side on the full board during the full board, of which they voted it down collectively. So everyone that was present at that time.
And you had a lot of support at that meeting, right?
I had a lot of support, not just at the meeting, but a lot support in general because of the content or the specifications of the proposal.
Okay.
But there was a decent attendance at that second meeting.
And that second meeting is also when security removed people, right?
Yes. Individuals were escorted out.
By security?
Yes.
Okay. And did you instruct them to do that or somebody else?
No.
Do you know who did?
I am not aware of who did. What I will say is they were present in the board meeting at the time when people were there, and yeah, they had a strong presence at that time.
Okay. Since that time, have you made any other resolutions?
We're talking about 2 times here. The first feasibility study proposal was proposed, I think, in 2022, and then maybe approximately a year later, I proposed it again. Since this year, I want to say March, I don't believe that I've made any more proposals, no.
Okay. Now, at some point, somebody at MPSU made some recommendations to the board to make some changes, right?
Without having that in front of me, I don't remember. I don't recall.
You don't recall if that happened or not?
I don't recall, no.
Okay. Do you believe the board has taken any action, do you believe MPS has taken any action with regard to the MPSU fraud since the Baker-Tilly report?
I'm going to object to the form of question argumentative and broad and vague, calls for speculation. Go ahead and answer if you can.
When, just for clarification, when you say NPS, are you referring to the administrative side or are you referring to the board side?
Either one if you have any knowledge.
I have been made aware, I have been told that there were some changes in the program that were made on the administrative side. As far as board action, nothing has come back before us since that, I think, the second meeting.
How did you learn of those administrative changes?
So, being a school board director, I communicate with principals. I have met individuals that were in the program, and I was made aware of, I think, staffing changes, even the institutional changes that were providing the courses for the credentials. Those were the changes that I'm referencing.
Now, you explained to me earlier that there is a directive to MPS employees not to talk to board members directly, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. How is it that you're able to talk to principals?
So, like, you have 9 board members on the board. Each of the 9 are independent in their thoughts, ideologies for the most part. You have individuals who are not afraid to engage with board members regardless of what was shared, and they understand that there can be consequences, but they also trust that board members will not do anything to put them in a position where they're where anything occurs, any actions are occurring against them. Basically, there are individuals who adhere to that, and out of protection for their employment status, they don't engage. And then there's others who don't even know that, who, have those relationships and whatnot.
What does that mean, have those relationships?
So I taught in a district. I know a lot of people. I've launched initiatives in the district, and so I know individuals in the district that speak to me regardless of directives. And there are individuals who ask me to keep things confidential, in which I have conversations and I don't reveal their information out of protection of them. And not protection.
I get it. But it's also true that any district employee who goes to you should also expect that you're not going to do anything with that information, right?
I can't speak to people's expectations.
Well, then I'll rephrase the question. Thank you for that. It's true that if a district employee goes to you with a concern, you're not actually going to do anything with it, right?
Check the form question. Broad and vague as well as argumentative. Go ahead and answer.
That is not true.
Okay, well, what did you do with Teresa Folaron's complaints?
I'm going to check. It's been asked and answered repeatedly throughout this deposition.
Okay, so I guess to be clear, the thing that you might do is you might talk to Mr. Posley, and then if nothing else follows up from that, then that's too bad for the employee, or what?
I'm rejecting the form of the question. Broad and vague. I don't understand it. It calls for speculation. Go ahead and answer if you can.
Yeah, I can't say that I understand it either. I know earlier I referenced what could and couldn't be done given the status of this. When it is a legal matter, there is nothing a board member can do until there is an investigation completed, at which time, as a collective board, we come together and make decisions based on the results of that investigation. We have not reached that point yet. In fact, this is a part of the investigation.
You have not, and I want to be clear on this, MPS has not finished its investigation into Teresa Folaron's complaints against MPSU. Is that true?
I would say no, or yes, because we're here. This is the part of the investigation process, I thought.
How did you come up with that belief?
Because it's filed. Ms. Folaron has an attorney, and so it's still in progress. And due process, this is a part of the progress. The investigation is not completed until witness statements. So I'm assuming we go through this process. We're in it, so it's not completed, the investigation.
Well, doesn't Adria Magdaleni investigate?
I would say no. I think Adria Maddalini is the chief of human resources, and again, because this is a legal matter, there are other steps and other actions or things that can occur in a process before we get a final completed investigation, and we're not there yet.
So Teresa Folaron started raising these complaints to MPS board members prior to filing her ERD complaint, correct?
Object to form questions, broad and vague as to the specific complaints you're discussing. Also calls for speculation. Go ahead and answer.
Can you restate that question? I just want to make sure I understand.
Sure, you received a letter from me about Teresa Folaron, correct?
You, her legal counsel, yes.
That's right, okay. And you were aware of Teresa Folaron's complaints before that, right?
I never admitted to that. I was made aware of the complaints formally in an executive session where it had been filed officially. I don't know if it were through the, EEOC or I'm not familiar with all of the intricate details. However, I was first made aware of this in executive session.
Okay, so did you ever talk to Teresa Folaron prior to her filing an ERD complaint?
I don't believe so. I think I met her after the fact. And again, I don't recall all of the dates. Like, I don't have a log in front of me of all of the meetings and conversations I've had. But I don't believe I knew her prior to us receiving this in closed session.
Okay. Whatever the next one is, please.
Should be three.
This one. Thank you. 3. All right.
I'll tell you what, before we do this, it's about 3 o'clock. So, do you have a lot more? Okay, then we've got to make a call.
Can we take a break?
Yes, please.
Stand by, we are going off the record. The time is 2:55 p.m. This is the end of Media Unit 2.